the Sigma 150 to 600 millimeter contemporary lens. I recently purchased this beast of a lens. I purchased this lens because I wanted more distance when taking photos of wildlife. My Canon 55 to 250 millimeter lens has been awesome, but there's been times where it was just too short and I just couldn't get that distance. I'm going to start with the negatives of the Sigma that I've experienced so far, and then I'm going to discuss the positives of this lens. So negatives. Firstly would definitely be the weight. This lens weighs around 4.63 pounds, so almost 5 pounds. The first time I went out with this lens, I definitely was struggling to hold it up for a long period of time. I'm used to shooting with a lens that weighs less than 1 pound, so I definitely noticed the difference. I struggled at first shooting small birds because I felt like I was holding a brick trying to capture something that's so small and that moves so fast. However, after using this lens a couple times now, I've definitely gotten used to it. It's definitely easier and I can hold it up for a longer period of time. A tripod would obviously solve this issue, but I'm someone who mainly shoots handheld. I do plan to get a gimbal for my tripod in the future. The second negative is autofocus. I've heard that the autofocus on this lens definitely struggles, and while I do notice that, I find that it's not too often and it's pretty manageable. Sometimes it does struggle with the autofocus, but it primarily gets the job done. For me, I don't think it's that bad, but I can see how that would be a major negative to a lot of people. Third negative is the audio with video. Now, I haven't seen too many people talking about this. Unfortunately, the focusing on the camera makes a lot of noise, so when you're trying to shoot video and capture the audio in the background, you're constantly hearing the focusing sound, and personally, I don't like that, as I'm someone who enjoys picking up the sounds of birds in the background. I've heard people buying an external mic, but apparently it still picks up the focusing sound. For me, I'll just personally use my 55 to 250 when I want to capture sound in my video. If you found a way to resolve this issue, definitely let me know in the comments. Now onto the positives. The main positive with this lens is the value for money. This lens is currently around $1,100 Canadian, which is very affordable for a telephoto lens that shoots all the way up to 600 millimeters. The next big positive is definitely the sharpness. I can see more detail in my photos compared to the Canon 55 to 250. My Canon 55 to 250 is still sharp, but I noticed the Sigma is definitely sharper and picks up a lot more detail. I also really like that this lens comes with a lens hood, a bag. I also like the tripod handle, which makes it a lot easier to walk around with. You can also lock the lens into place so it doesn't move around on you. Overall, I really like this lens and I'm happy that I got it. I bought it mainly for the extra distance and the sharpness. For situations where I just couldn't capture an eagle in the distance or something that my 55 to 250 just couldn't reach. It's also just a sweet bonus that it's nice and sharp. I can't wait to get out to the mountains with this lens and capture some wildlife. I'd love to get a photo of a bear. Some bighorn sheep would be awesome, and I also would like to do some landscape photography with this lens. Anyways, that's my first impression of the Sigma 150 to 600 contemporary lens. I'm really happy with this lens, and I will keep posting about this lens as I continue to use it. Definitely let me know if you've been interested in purchasing this lens or if you have it, and leave some comments below. Another thing I will say is that this lens looks hilarious with the Canon M50, which is what I use because the Canon M50 is so small. So it kind of looks cartoony having this ginormous lens and then this little camera body. But you know what? It works. The adapter works. Everything works. You just want to make sure that you always hold the lens and not the camera, because you could definitely do some damage if you're only holding the weight of the camera or the adapter. So make sure to always hold the lens.